Hi there, Philip and Philip are back, and we're here to
unleash your talents. This week we're having a look into personal branding and more specifically into the value set that you require for your own personal branding. It is highly important that whatever you stand for, that you actually know what it means to you, and where there is a thin red line that you can approach, but where others are not allowed to cross over.
Let me tell you an anecdote, and it's really sad because it's true. This happened to me. I was a manager in a big company, and one of my employees was supposed to get a new job. And then just before we were ready to sign that, her father had a stroke. And she told me, well, she cannot take this new job because she has to take care of her father. And I said, yeah, I understand, it's sad, but it's okay. No problem for me. And then a manager higher up told me, okay, now it's clear what her motivation is. Obviously for her, family is more important than business, and he told me to kick her out. What would you do in this situation? And keep in mind, showing backbone here has consequences. Well, I can tell you what I did. I refused to do that. And until today, I'm proud and I'm happy that I did it because I saved her job and I walked out proud because it was the right thing to do. But I don't need to tell you what this meant for my career later on.
And there's this interesting thing, because a lot of people are obviously dependent on their career, and reaching a good career is obviously something nice. However, at what cost? So basically, whatever you decide in tricky, in hard situations where there is no space to pivot, where there is no possibility to come up with a miracle solution, but where there is actually like one solution only or one dictation only, how do you behave in this kind of situation? Are you a leaf in the wind or a tree in the storm? And maybe if you catch up with this metaphor, you realize that a tree in a storm still can bend quite a lot. But that's the interesting part. For your personal brand, of course, you need to have your core values, the no go, no change kind of style values, where nobody is allowed to interrupt or in any way change it. Whenever you work, whenever you present yourself, whenever your personal branding is at stake, this kind of values are essential. And how much can you actually bend? How much can you adjust? And when do you overdo it? When do you break your backbone? When is the tree in the storm breaking? It's so important to stay on your core here, because then people again take you for serious. They take you as what you are, as for what you stand. And this is like the magical thing about personal branding. If you can make people understand, this is me, this is what I am, this is what I am not, take it or leave it, then this is exactly what personal branding can make for you, and where you can create clarity for your peers.
And let's think back to the story I told before. I was admired by many people for that. By my direct manager, of course. He found this fantastic because I showed character here. I was not, let's say, a slippery fish, but I stood my ground. I was like the tree. I said, this is a red line I will not cross. Again, this has consequences, but I think it still makes sense for you to understand, what are these red lines? What does it mean to cross this red line? And what does it mean for you? What are you willing to do in order to prevent that from happening? Are you able to then say, sorry boss, I disagree with you? Will you completely disobey an order? What are you willing to do? Keeping in mind the consequences. Now, my personal experience on this is, or my opinion on this is, if you're in a company that constantly pushes you towards that red line, and sometimes even pushes you across that red line, double think if that's really the company that you want to work for. The good news is there are many companies out there, and the even better news is many companies will not treat you that way. So choose wisely and don't bend your backbone just to stay in that company where it's comfortable. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and to go to a company which fits exactly your set of values.
So what are your red lines? What are your red lines in your company, in your team that you lead, or in the team that you are being led? So make yourself aware, take your time, reflect on how far are you willing to go before you cannot look yourself in the mirror. If you figure this out, reflect on this. Take a paper, write down all the things that are connected with this, what overstepping this line would mean to you, what this would create for you. And do this relentlessly and many times, just to get like a routine in this personal self-reflection. Because the skill of reflecting your own actions, the skill of reflecting your own process, this is something that you can really make into a talent if you just repeat it and if it becomes a second nature to you. If you don't need to think about, I'll reflect. No, if you can just like reflect on the spot and instantly pivot and instantly correct your course of action while you're doing it. If you reach this point, a mere skill became your talent.
Wonderful final word for this video. Don't forget, in our videos we're always here to help you to
unleash your talents. Take care guys, see you.
See you next time. Ciao.